In this section, we're going to cover right triangle trigonometry. So the three basic functions that we're going to go over is sine, cosine, and tangent. Now, the short version of sine is just sin. The short version of cosine is just cos. And the short version of tangent is just tan. So when you see the words sine, cosine, and tangent, this is what it means. Now I'm going to talk about the definition of each trigonometric function. So in a right triangle for sine is equal to opposite side over hypotenuse side. Cosine is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse side. And then for tangent is equal to opposite side to the adjacent side. Now, since the words are quite long, we use the short abbreviation for them. So when you see this word, it means opposite. And then we use this abbreviation for hypotenuse. And then we use this abbreviation for adjacent. So when we're talking about sine, cosine, and tangent, most likely you see these words. Now, it's quite a lot to memorize. So there is a rule on how to memorize all trig functions, the basic trig functions, and their definition. So for sine is basically equal to opposite over hypotenuse. For cosine, it's adjacent over hypotenuse. And then for tangent, it's opposite over adjacent. Now you may have seen this in geometry, but what they wrote it as is this. Which is Sakatoa. So, if you memorize this, or in this form, then this will help you identify the definition for sine, cosine, and tangent. Just simply writing this out can help you remember everything. So like I said, this one right here, if you were to write this out, it's easy to remember that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So as you can see, I use S for sine, C for cosine, and T for tangent. So using this rule, Sakatoa, this will help you identify and memorize the definition for sine, cosine, and tangent. So practice memorizing this or writing it out a few times, Sakatoa, so that you can build a connection for each definition in order to identify the sides and angles of a right triangle.